Creative critical reflection. Question 1. How does your product use and challenge conventions? How does it represent social groups or issues? In my film opening, I decided to utilize the conventions of thriller films while challenging them as well. The film is about a young man suffering from an identity crisis due to long-term trauma he goes through. Various dream sequences in the film as he searches for the truth in what and who he really is. A convention that I followed through is the use of camera angles. My product heavily emphasizes on the use of different camera angles and movements to convey certain emotions and introduce the audience to the perception of each character in each other's own eye. For example, for this scene, I used a close-up shot to show introspection, which heavily ties to the struggles of my main character, which is his identity crisis. Another example would be the use of handheld. For some scenes, I have turned off the camera stabilizer to give my film a natural shake. The use of the natural shake camera movement adds to the film as a form of unevenness and uncertainty. I wanted my audience to feel unsafe, so with the camera not being in the right place each time would make them feel anxious, like my main character. Another convention I followed was the use of non-diegetic sounds. I had more freedom in making music for my film as I make my own music. For this scene, I used heavily distorted guitars to illustrate a mental breakdown. By using this, I was able to elevate the tension for the scene. A convention I have challenged, however, is through my characters. I have decided to make an ambiguous main character, dressing him up as neither a male nor female, as I feel like in most films in the thriller genre has a lack of this usage. It is not so because I believe that this topic that I wanted to discuss was not centered around gender. Rather, this was a topic about us human beings ourselves. My product is meant to be a social commentary on rape and abuse. I believe that rape and abuse is often stigmatized in Brunei's society, and there is a lack of awareness surrounding the dangers of it, and is often stigmatized. We could see we could see this notion through the article from Borneo Bulletin. In Brunei Darussalam, quoted, in Brunei Darussalam, she said 95% of victims in reported domestic violence cases are women. 8 out of 10 rape victims can identify the perpetrator, and 1 in every 3 rape cases are perpetrated by a family member or a close relative. Another article I would like to coin is an article by Brudirect. The article shows that even in Islamic countries like Brunei, rape and abuse is still a main problem. The country is also aware of this notion, which I appreciate, but I believe that there are other ways to connect and communicate the social situation. This includes using media products. Shahre cited statistics that shown increasing, quoted, figures of domestic violence cases filed in the country over the last few years, though he believes these figures do not paint the real picture as many cases are left unreported. I would like to advocate for this social situation as I believe that through my product I could contribute back to society and make meaningful products that opt for social change. In the film I researched, Anti-Porno, which was a commentary on Japan's pink industry, inspired me to do the same in my own film. In a sense in which in Anti-Porno it dwells with the exploitation of women and how they are treated as more than a social object rather than a human being. My film, however, I wanted a more gender neutral approach as I believe that it could happen to anyone. So I presented the main character as sexually ambiguous, a fragment of who he might be. The goal of the film was to represent the victims of rape and abuse and the trauma and abuse that followed through them.